Game Demo!
Hey everyone, and welcome to our daily demo. I'm joined by Adam from Ubisoft, who's a producer on the game Outland. So you brought the game over. What are you guys showing today?
So today we're showing the PAX preview build.
Okay.
It's the first couple chapters of the game, give you a taste of how it plays, what it looks like, that sort of thing.
All right, cool. So you have it up and running here. Let's jump in and take a look. So for those who aren't familiar with Outland or haven't been following, could you kind of give us an overview of what the game is?
Sure. So Outland is an action platformer. It's a mix of Prince of Persia with an Ikaruga style mechanic where you're switching between your light ability and your dark ability to deal with puzzles and enemies and challenges and that sort of thing.
Oh, okay. So what are we watching right now?
So right now what you're seeing is our intro cinematic. It's telling you the backstory of your character. So it occurs in modern times, and the character is suffering these visions, and he's not sure what's causing them. They're kind of causing him nightmares. So he hears about this shaman in the jungle who can interpret his dreams. So he heads in there, and the shaman tells him that there's this ancient conflict that's playing out right now, and he's the only one who can stop it.
There's always a greater power at work, I guess.
Exactly.
All right, cool. So are there going to be a lot of cinematics like this throughout the game, or?
No, we really want to keep the player involved in the game, so there's this intro cinematic, and then everything after this is going to be playable.
Okay. And you mentioned the light and dark mechanics, so how does that kind of work in Outland?
So in Outland, you start out as a normal character, and you gain the ability to switch between your light and your dark ability. What that means is when you have your light flow, light attacks don't damage you, but dark attacks do. Vice versa when you're dark facing light enemies. And so you have to switch back and forth depending on the enemies that you face. And then also depending on your energy between light and dark, that affects the puzzles that you face. Some of the puzzles you have to be light and dark and switching back and forth. And then on top of that we put on a layer of platforming and combat. So you constantly have to be switching while dealing with these other challenges. What happens is you have this flashback moment where these visions crowd into your head. And what's happening is you are actually getting a peek into the last time this conflict affected our world. So in our story,
30,000 years ago.
every enormous calendar cycle, these deities, they try and break out of their prison. And so the last time this happened, there was an ancient hero that's tied to our modern hero. This ancient hero had to put them back in their prison. And so now I'm actually playing as him.
Oh, okay. So you're that guy.
Yes.
With powers.
Yes. So now I'm basically this hero at the end of his quest, and I can switch at any time.
Oh, between light and dark.
Between light and dark.
So I noticed you're collecting little coins.
Correct. So coins are my currency that allows me to power up my character, get more health, more energy.
Okay. Interesting. Spirit energy.
Spirit energy. So here's a very basic puzzle. We have these platforms, and if I'm the wrong alignment, I just pass right through. So if I switch to dark alignment, I can stand on that, and I have to switch in midair to jump onto that one. Very simple. It's the first time we're showing it to the player. This is dark energy, which I'll absorb if I'm the correct alignment. If I was the opposite alignment,
You take damage.
Correct. So I can collect these coins, which I'll be able to use on more abilities later.
Will there be health pickups and stuff as you go throughout the game?
Yes, absolutely. So here I'm just switching back and forth. Now here's the first time I face an aligned enemy. Now, enemy attacks, physical enemy attacks, always do damage.
Okay.
So
regardless of.
Regardless. The difference is if I'm the same alignment, I just bounce off.
Okay.
So I have to switch to the alternate alignment.
To actually do damage.
Exactly.
I see. I assume that once you get the hang of it, it becomes a lot easier.
Yes, yeah.
The switching of the back and forth and
right.
remembering what color you should be.
Absolutely, and in the beginning, we take it very slowly. This is just a taste of what our mechanic is like further on in the game. After this, you start back at your normal self in the present, and we expose you to these abilities one at a time, so you can learn them and master them before we give you a new ability.
All right, great. Oh. So what kind of different creatures will you see as you go
So
through the
mostly the creatures that you face are essentially almost mutant versions of creatures you would find in the jungle. So spiders, dragonflies, lots of critters that you would find just blown up to massive proportions. And the idea is that these deities who are trying to break out, their energy is leaking out of this prison, and it's warping the reality around them. And so you have these creatures, which are just normal jungle creatures, but they're turned into these kind
twisted,
of perverse
weird
versions of themselves.
Well, it works well with like the whole art style and the lighting, and it looks like a seahorse with wings.
Yes.
So how long does this level go for?
So
Like this flashback, I mean.
this flashback is about, it's pretty quick. I'm just about done, so about 5 minutes or so.
Okay. So this is where you get to play. So you mentioned that you don't have powers like in the beginning of the game. So this is like your chance to kind of get used to it, and then you'll gradually gain those powers as time goes on?
Yes. So once this flashback ends, just a second. Once this flashback ends and I return back to my original self, yes, then I'm essentially powerless except for some basic attacks. And I have to, I gain them over time.
Okay. It's pretty good. They can talk and still swap back and forth and deal back. Because I was hard when I was just focusing on it, and I didn't even talk to anybody.
So these are the sisters. These are this is ultimately the final boss that you face in our game.
Oh, we see them this early?
Yes, we give you just a taste so you understand the challenges that's going to be facing you all the way at the end.
Ah. This is kind of like the last level. It's quite a ladder.
Yes, it's an epic moment. They've been chained inside this prison, and they're about to break out, and in this past version of the events, this hero is going to stop them.
So there they are.
But we end the flashback there.
Okay, so that's just a little tease. So looks good. When's the game coming out and on what platform?
So the game is coming out end of April, beginning of May of this year.
Okay.
And it's going to be on XBLA and PSN.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming by and showing us the PAX demo.
No problem.
All right, and that was our look at Outland. Now on with the rest of the show.